In the last 2 years, I've generated over $25 million in email sales for over 47 and 8-figure e-commerce brands. In this video, I'm going to show you how to send better emails than 99% of the brands and how to get a double-digit ROI on your email marketing efforts. So let's get right into it. The first and most important thing is your email placement. This is really the first step to making your emails better, because the first thing you actually need to do is to get your emails seen. If they land in the spam folder or in the junk folder, nothing else is going to matter. So getting your emails into the primary tab will be the critical step that you can't skip. Very quick fix to do it is to get your deliverability right by setting up new branded sending domain, adding all of the DNS records, warming up your domain by sending your emails to engaged segments, and by engaged I mean opened 7, 15, 30, and so on. Then you want to keep expanding over time until your all your campaigns get an open rate of at least 40%, and then it's pretty much rinse and repeat until you can hit broader segments with over 40% open rate. Very important thing is that this is just a simplified version. If you want to get like in-depth guide and learn everything there is to learn about deliverability, there will be a link below this video. This is going to be the first link that you see in the description below. Make sure you download it. It's going to be, again, entirely free deliverability masterclass. But now going back into the video, another important thing that really plays a role is recognizability. One thing that not many people talk about is like how it impacts the open rate of your emails, okay, and overall performance. The truth is that inboxes are crowded. It's not like, 10 or 15 years ago where barely anyone was sending email campaigns. Now everyone knows about it and like pretty much everyone is doing it. But luckily for you, most brands are doing it wrong. So again, this video will show you how to do it the right way and get ahead of pretty much everyone. But inboxes are just as crowded as Instagram on Facebook feeds, and you kind of need to approach them similarly, right? Like if someone is scrolling Instagram, they might be scrolling their Gmail inbox in exactly the same way. So if you send one email per week, people might know who you are, but they'll be more likely to skip or delete your email without even opening it, simply because they aren't sure who you are. They might know you from somewhere, but they won't be sure. Especially if your competitor sells a similar product that solves the same or a similar problem, and their emails are getting to subscribers delivered 3 times a week. So if one person is getting one email from you per week, and you have a competitor who's targeting the same person 3 times a week, then who do you think they're going to choose if they're looking for for a product to buy? So if someone is looking for a joint supplement for their dog, they'll recognize the brand that sends more emails, a little bit more, and ultimately they are more likely to open, click on and convert from the email and from the brand that they are seeing in their inbox more often. Same with like Facebook or Instagram, awareness. Like if someone sees your ads like once per week or once per month, then they'll be like, yeah, I've seen this somewhere. But if they see, if someone like runs a brand that shows, ads to like every single customer or prospect 3 times a week or like 5 times a week, they're gonna be way more, familiar with what they're doing, what problems they're solving, and in general, like whenever they see their profile picture and name, they're gonna be like, oh, it's that brand that sells the, joint supplements for my dog, right? Same goes about email and inboxes. Now let's talk about subject lines and preview text, because all of that being said, so you need to have good deliverability, you need to be recognizable, people need to know who you are, you need to be constantly staying on the top of their mind. But with all that being said, your subject lines and preview texts still matter. You can use them to get the open, but also to pre-frame the recipient, right? We've seen cases where the only thing we would test for a flow or for a campaign would be a subject line that was pre-framing people a little bit differently. And trust me when I say that it makes a huge difference. Sometimes, multiple times more revenue from the subject line that was pre-framing people. Because if, for example, you're sending an email with the subject line, how about 10% of our product? Or when you put in more urgency, like only 24 hours left for 10% off, then the second subject line with more urgency is going to pre-frame a little bit more to make the buying decision and to make it now, because they have only 24 hours left, which is not a lot of time. So that's why it's so important. You see multiple examples of subject lines that you can use, and also some examples of the tests that you can run. For example, subject lines with emoji or without emoji, bold statement versus question, including specific numbers versus not including them, urgency versus no urgency, and then offer in the subject line versus offer in the preview text. This last test actually is the great one for your first email in the welcome flow. So make sure that you implement it and run this test because the results can be way better for the winning variation. Now let's talk about content, because one of the most critical factors for sending better emails than others is just having better content. Okay, like after you're landing in the primary tab and your emails are not landing in spam anymore, getting better content is probably one of those levers that is going to help you make more money from your emails. And that really comes down to having better both copy and design. You can see the main pillars of good content below. So it's going to be research, then visual hierarchy plus copy, right timing, and then segments. And I'm going to cover all of them, so no worries if something seems not obvious right now. Let's talk about research, because to be honest, this is the first and probably most important step in creating emails better than your competitors or other brands. That's because the number one thing that makes emails or content in general convert better is relevancy. If you write an email using language your customers would use, talking about their problems and making them feel understood, they will relate. Like if you can create a copy that your prospects read, they're like, yeah, that's me. I use this language. I have the same problem. Like, how do they know me so well? We want to kind of create this feeling of being like, hey, they know everything about me, even though we've never talked, right? This is the right research. And if they're going to read an email like that, they will relate more with this, which means they're more likely to purchase. Because when they relate and you present your product as a solution, the reaction will be simple. Like, yep, that's me, and I definitely need this because they know my problems, they know how it works, so the solution they're offering is probably, created by someone who had similar problems. This is like an assumption people make if you do your right research, and this is why it's so important. So to keep it very simple, you don't need to be spending hours every single day doing research. You want to know the following. So you want to know your target audience's fears, dreams, wants, and frustrations, the objections that they have that prevent them from buying from you, risk associated. So like, what is the risk on their side? What if it doesn't work? What if it messes up my skin even more? What if I, get sick after eating this? Whatever that might be. And then power words and avatars, where you can also use name hijacking. To give you a simple example, if you're running an e-com brand, then you're in the business, like more or less, right? Because you run a business. So you probably know who Alex Hormozi is. And if I were to create a video, like, Alex Hormozi's advice on email marketing, then I'm like kind of hijacking his power avatar because you know who he is. So we would be more likely to click on this and like even, watch the video, trusting what I'm about to say, just because you know who Alex Hormozi is. Very simple example, but same goes with the power words, just some of the words that your prospects might be using in your case and in our case. If you're on an e-com brand, words like customer acquisition cost, profit margins, poor cash flow, rising advertising costs, all of these, if I talk about them, they're like, yeah, I'm struggling with this, so he might know a thing or two, versus if I said, it's hard to scale your brand, make sales, make more money, like some simple buzzwords. It doesn't really mean anything. So getting more specific with power words and power avatars is really powerful for any niche, really. Now let's talk about visual hierarchy, because this is very important. Like, you're not going to see the exact email design, but this is the hierarchy that you need to follow, and this is the outline that pretty much you can implement for any brand can implement it. And like, again, you don't want your every single email to look exactly like this. You want to spice things up a little bit, but for 80 to 90% of the cases, if you follow this outline and structure, you will be having very nice conversions and clicks for your emails. So the first thing is going to be logo, then headline and subheading with the button. As you can see, all of that is above default. So whenever someone opens the email, without scrolling further, they know who sent the email, they know what is it about, and then they have the call to action, which means they can click and go to the product page and buy right away without scrolling even further. Then you want to have some kind of image or a section break. It could be a lifestyle image, product image, whatever else. Then some email body, then another button, and then collection links to your, top selling collections. Footer with free icons about your USPs. So I don't know, free shipping, 30-day money back guarantee, trusted by 10,000 people. And again, your logo, a subscribe section, always make it easy for them to see this. And then your mission statement for better deliverability. Super simple. And, this is like the base outline, this part, with an email body and then button. If you want, you can keep adding more sections below this button part and above the collection link. I don't know, you could add reviews, you could add a product, feature, whatever that might be. But this is really the base for all of the emails you create. And again, they don't all need to be the same. You can change things. So maybe in some emails, you would put image above the headline, making sure that the button and this whole section would still be above default, right? Maybe in some cases, you would put the headline subheading image and the then button, right? So you can really play with this. In some cases, some emails might not need to include the button above the fold. You can just have the headline, subheading, image, email body, and then button. This is also fine. But overall, this is probably the most optimal outline or template for pretty much any ecom brand. So implement it to your emails and I guarantee you'll probably start seeing better results. Here's also the list of additional sections that you can keep adding to the template above. Again, you would usually add them below this second button. So this is the first button, this is the second one. And if you want more sections, then you could add them below this button. This could be, anything really from reviews to USPs, comparison table, featured products, photo collage, featured collections, or just more copy. So if you have a very long email, this could be one part of the copy with button, and you could add another one just to kind of explain on the idea further. But again, feel free to play with it and follow the structure because it's been proven to work. If you probably go to, some of the big brands crushing it with email, you're going to see something similar without even realizing it. So again, if you need to, then you can just pause the video even right now, take a look at it, screenshot it, and then implement for your brand as well. Now let's talk about copy, because when writing your copy, you have to keep in mind two things. The first one is the research, and the second one is the visual hierarchy or the template that I showed you right now. So this one. It's very important that you do it because you can't be writing an email like it's a plain text email when your goal is to make it design-based email, okay? Otherwise, you'll just end up with long paragraphs that nobody wants to read, and it will hurt your conversions. And don't get me wrong, you can still have long paragraphs and long copy and long emails, but if you do it, then you need to make transitions and just split it into multiple sections so it's more readable. Now let me just break it down step by step on how to plan the copy. So you could just create a simple even table in your Google Docs where it covers every one of these areas. So the first one is subject line. It pretty much sells the open, so you can use it to pre-frame a customer as well. Preview text kind of supports the subject line. This is usually something short and snappy. Then for the headline, this is going to be your main idea, claim, or angle behind the email. Subheading is usually supporting it. So, headline is the main idea, and subheading is just supporting this main idea or claim or angle. And CTA, usually header and subheader should work in a way that it's enough for people to understand what the email is about. And CTA should lead them to the product page. And if it sounds confusing, I'm going to explain with examples in just a second. I've got a few of these, so just stick with me. But yeah, you're above default section, which is these three elements. It's very important. Again, all of these combined should be enough for people to read your headline, subheading, and be like, okay, I know what is it about, and they're going to click with the first button above default. With email body below this first call to action, this is where you can expand a little bit more on the main, idea, angle, claim, whatever that might be. Just write a few more paragraphs, I don't know, 2 to 3, and explain, anything there is to explain. And another CTA is a finisher. If you're a WWE fan or if you played it ever, then you're going to know. But overall, finisher is the so for WWE, it was the final move that they would do to finish the opponent, and then there would be a countdown, and the fight would be over. And it's kind of similar with emails, where the last call to action is the finisher. So if someone read the whole email, this can be pretty strong CTA just to make them to buy. And if they don't buy, if we go back to the to the template, then they still have 5 collection links. So let's say you are featuring one product, but you have 5 different collections. You might have talked about something in the email. Maybe they're not necessarily interested in this specific product that you're promoting, but then you have collection links, promoting other collection, and maybe they would click on collection link number 3. So that would be it, how to break down the this template step by step. And now it's time for some of the examples. So you can see, this is what I was talking about. We have the logo, and then we talk half the battle of a perfect wrap is having the right tools. That's why we've made it easy for you. Shop the the toolkit. So if someone reads it, then they know okay, if I'm doing wraps, if I'm a detailing studio or a DIYer, I might need the right tools. They're offering them. Let me check it out. Okay. So if someone read only this part, they know that the email is about having the right tools that will help you implement the wrap on your car and make it, faster, easier, more efficient, and so on. This is what I was talking about when I meant that after reading the headline and subheading, someone should be able to understand what the email is about and click the call to action already. Then again, we just have a product photo. Then we have more email body supporting all of the, the claims that we made above. And then we have the finisher, which is the, once again, the last call to action, like, okay, like just buy it now. And you can notice that we, for example, didn't include the collection links here, mainly because we really wanted to direct all of the traffic onto this specific product page. And we just wanted to focus on this product specifically, just because it isn't like bestseller for this brand. So we knew like, okay, only probably most interested people would click on this and buy, those who are like big fans and bought from them multiple times. That's why we don't have it, but in like most of our campaigns, we're still including them. And then, as you can see, we have the USP footer logo or icons, and then the logo in the footer. Then another example, again, winterproof your eye care routine, easy steps to keep your eyes healthy and hydrated this season, explore more. So if you're struggling with dry eyes during the winter, you know what the campaign is about, you can click on explore more. You have the product photo, and then again, just, introducing more copy, some nice visualization of the benefits, or like, ideas. In this case, it's actually giving, some ideas on, how to make the eyes hydrated and healthy, and then finish your call to action. And you can see some different layouts. So instead of making it horizontal, we made the logo vertical, which is completely fine. And then the icons are, in a different, designed in a different way, but it also works very well. And yes, we don't have the footer links here as well, but that's because this is a one product store. And I included this example specifically on purpose, because if you also run, a one product store, then obviously you don't need, multiple collection links, because you have just one collection, you have just one product. And that's why, again, there will be scenarios where you don't have these. But if you are not having them, then you need to make sure that you're doing it on purpose and you exactly understand the reasons behind it, just like we did in this email, just like we did in this email. And then finally, we're going to have an email with the perfect structure. But same thing here. So we have the logo, it's not at the very top, but it's still fairly above. Every baby deserves a pacifier that soothes and supports healthy development. That's why you created the Nini pacifier. Shop the Nini pacifier right now. So if you're a mother that has a baby, and you want a pacifier that soothes and supports healthy development, like that this product is exactly what you're looking for, right? Just after reading the headline, subheading, you have the call to action. Then again, just a photo. And then we have the longer paragraph, then call to action, which is the finisher, as I said, and then collection link. So pacifier cases, clips, gift sets, blankets, footer with the USP icons, and then logo and mission statement, which is invisible. So yeah, these would be the examples. Again, these emails convert very well. They're clicking very well. So if you need to just pause and learn how to implement it for your brand. But now it's time for timing. A lot of buying decisions are simply made when the timing is good. And I'm even seeing it myself where, like, I might be looking for someone, but I'll be somewhat interested. And then after a week or two, I'm like, okay, I definitely need this. And this is when I'm going to buy. And if I see a brand that, like, during those 2 weeks emailed me one time, I'm going to be like, I don't know. I'm not sure. They just emailed me once. Like, I don't care. But if I see a brand that, encouraged me to open the email with relevant subject lines that actually matter, that would be solving my problem, and they would email me 5 times during those 5 weeks, I'm like, okay, they have a lot of content, I don't need to click outside of my Gmail inbox to go to Instagram or to their website to read more. I can just open those 5 emails, read what is it about, and if I'm ready to purchase, I'm going to purchase. And trust me, the chances of me buying from this brand that sent 5 emails versus from the one that sent 1, they are huge. Like, the difference between those two is huge. And again, someone might also start thinking about, let's say, taking a vitamin D supplement on Friday, because they were talking, with their colleagues at work, and they told them like, hey, if you're feeling, XYZ, then you might have a vitamin D deficiency. But even if you don't do it, then pretty much almost anyone has a deficiency of vitamin D, especially if you don't live in a country where it's sunny all the time. Okay, so someone might start thinking about it on Friday, do the research for the weekend, talk about it with colleagues again during the next week, and buy it the next Saturday. So between them realizing I might need it and them realizing I'm going to buy it, it took like 8 days. And if you are going to send one email during those 8 days, then the chances of you having the perfect timing are super low. And in general, you wouldn't probably email this person on this exact day. I mean, if you would, then you're extremely lucky. And it's not strategy, it's just a luck. And you don't want to base your e-commerce growth on, being lucky, right? especially that it comes to sending on the right day, but also at the exact hour that they made the decision, or we're like, okay, it's probably something for me. But you can minimize the luck and maximize your chances by doing two things. First one is sending campaigns frequently. Once again, 3 to 4 times a week is going to be perfect. And then you also want to find the best time to send emails. You can do it by identifying top performing days in your Shopify dashboard. Then you want to check most active sale hours, because this is usually where your target audience is most active online. They are searching and looking for the product. And then you can also run an exploratory send time campaign in Klaviyo, which is going to send a campaign throughout the whole 24 hours, and it's going to show you which campaign had the highest open rate. And now the last part will be segmentation, where really you want to keep it simple. You want to target your engaged segments and then buyers and non-buyers. If your deliverability is good, you can expand it even further and target all buyers or all non-buyers at once. But these are the engaged segments that you really need. So the regular engaged one, people engaged in the last 60 days. And then I like to split it into engaged buyers and non-buyers. Just so first of all, I can analyze in Klaviyo which segment, made the purchase or which performed better. But then if I want to target only buyers, but my deliverability isn't the greatest, I can use this segment, or the same goes for non-buyers. I can use either one of these segments. That will get nice open rate, nice click rate, and also nice conversions. So this is exactly how you do it. And again, the first step to getting all of this is making sure that you avoid spam folder forever and always land your emails in the primary tab. So if you want to learn how to do it, there's going to be a completely free guide linked below this video, which you can just download and learn everything there is to learn about deliverability and always landing in the primary tab. These are the exact strategies that we use for our clients who are right now at 7 to 8 figures per year. So once again, get it, it's entirely free. After you've downloaded it, make sure to subscribe and watch my other video, which is going to be recommended by YouTube. Cheers!